This is the crown jewel of progressive American flat track, the legendary Springfield Mile. We're going to race it twice. The first leg is up next.
I'm the best dude here as far as ability-wise.
I really just need to go out there and do one thing, and that's to win.
We worked so hard this year. The team worked so hard.
Let the race begin.
We're underway. The carrot is there. Can he go after it?
It doesn't take much for a guy to go down.
Wow, that was close. That was the pressure point.
Looking fantastic.
Wow, I did not expect this.
If he ruffles some feathers along the way, so be it.
Can't say these guys aren't tough. They take the win. Unbelievable run. You don't often see domination like this.
How impressive is that?
What a performance.
We haven't been disappointed.
It's the race everyone wants to win, the Memphis Shade Springfield Mile, presented by Law Tigers. High-speed action, draft passing. It is a specialty of this man, Jared Mees, who has 5 wins at this track. Meanwhile, Briar Bauman, working on his 3rd straight title in this series, has never won at Springfield. And this man, Jeffrey Carver, has. It's his first race of the year. He's coming in only to race this event, and he could win it. Jason Wygant and former GNC champion Brad Baker with the call. Kristen Beat reporting from the racetrack. Briar Bauman holds a series lead, but this is a strength tonight for Jared Mees.
Yeah, Jared Mees is only 25 points out. I mean, he definitely has more experience on this track than Briar. If he wins and Briar gets second, I mean, that's 5 points. And with these 4 miles coming up, he could really chew into that points lead. So Briar has to be really close to Jared, if not beat him, to be able to keep that points.
A lot of pressure in the air here. Let's get a report from the racetrack with Kristen Beat.
Thanks, guys. The Springfield Mile is legendary. It's iconic. The racing here is always competitive, and the reason for that is because of the kind of racing this track fosters, and you can see that evident in the amount of wildcard entries in the Super Twins class. But those very entries could, in fact, skew this championship race between Briar Bauman and Jared Mees. So this race becomes pivotal in Briar Bauman's season progression. And when I spoke with him earlier in the day, I asked him, what are you focused on? He said, I really want to try to stay small on the bike. Guys, generally the miles reward and celebrate the smaller, more compact riders. Briar Bauman is not that. So this weekend, he's focused on limiting drag on the bike. He's trying to create a better aero package. So earlier in the week, Brad Baker and him kind of worked on a plan to clean up his tuck. And what that means, he has to scoot further back on the bike. He's going to lay down closer to the gas tank, and on the straightaways, they'll actually tuck an arm. So holding onto the handlebars with one arm, tucking the other to create less drag overall, hoping that he can compensate for his size on the mile and maintain his points lead, leaving Springfield, guys.
Well, we'll give you an idea, thanks, Kristen, of what this racing looks like. This is our event last year. Jeffrey Carver putting heavy pressure on Jared Mees, and then in the backstretch, you'll see a draft attempt.
Yeah, you see Jeffrey in the draft, starting to get a little bit of run on him, doesn't quite get there, but you can see how it makes him get in a little bit of a head shake. It's almost turbulence around the rider behind you, and that will create a little bit of a head shake. But Robinson coming off a turn 4, trying to line up the draft pass, slips a little wide there. That gives Jared just enough room. But here comes Robinson with the draft.
This is right to the line.
Doesn't quite have enough. You got to line that up just perfectly to be able to execute the draft pass at the line.
And that's what we expect tonight, is to come all the way down to the checkered flag and maybe a pass out of turn 4. Beautiful racetrack, beautiful facility. Big crowd will be on hand tonight. So exciting to be at Springfield again. Giving some qualifying action. So Jeffrey Carver, a wild card. Do not count the fact that he hasn't raced any races this year. He's absolutely capable of going as fast as anyone in this track. He led early. Sammy Halbert down to the inside.
Yeah, this is an amazing race right here. I mean, 5 guys going at it. Almost like a main event. And look at Davis Fisher right there, almost making it 6 guys.
Halbert and Carver still battling, and then Mees out of nowhere takes the lead, and then Halbert gets it back.
Yeah, Halbert goes up to the inside, and so does Briar Bauman. Briar looks like he doesn't have quite the run. Look at Jared around the outside.
Unreal, this run to the line, and Halbert on the Nyla Coolbeth Racing Machine going to take the win. So he's yet another contender for the victory. When we get to the main, Briar right behind Jared Mees. That's a good setup for our main event. We get into semi number 2. Brandon Robinson just dominant.
Yeah, not quite as exciting here with Robinson running away. Robinson's won this race before back in 2013. Smoked the field then. Let's see if he's able to do it again tonight.
The Mission Foods Roof Systems Dallas Machine Jared Vanderkoy has been very strong all year, finishes up in second ahead of Brandon Price, one of the young riders showing some talent and speed. JD Beach was fourth. This is our Mission Foods Challenge, $5,000 on the line. It's considered a sprint race, although it'll be pretty long on the mile track. Our top 2 riders out of each of our 2 semis. Here we go. Mees is going to be down to the inside.
And Halbert there, third over. He gets a hole shot.
Man, Sammy has got that machine dialed in tonight. And it's going to be Vanderkoy battling it out with Mees for second.
Yeah, he won here last year, so, you know, he knows how to go fast around Springfield.
And what has happened to Robinson there?
Yeah, it looks like Robinson might have smoked his clutch. He's had a couple issues this year of getting off the line, you know, maybe being a little too aggressive on the clutch.
Well, I got a lot of horsepower in these bikes. I cannot believe they can even do that, hold the clutch in. If they hold that start even just another second or two, it really fries them.
For
Meanwhile,
sure.
These 3 riders that are left battling, what a battle it is. Halbert going from third to first.
Man, this is Springfield at its finest. These guys, you just throw a blanket all over 3 of them.
So now Mees to the lead, Vanderkoy second, Halbert third, into the backstretch where we usually see a ton of passing.
Yeah, Vanderkoy really hasn't been in this position too many times. He's going to have to really take notes and learn from these 2 veterans.
Yeah, he's really stepped up the game this year, so he's in position maybe to play for the win. But as you always talk about, it's a bit of a chess match on this track.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's about where you want to be on the last lap. If you're able to lead to the stripe coming off of turn 4, if you're leading, or if you want to be in second place and try to get that draft pass to get to the win.
Okay, so now Halbert and Vanderkoy battling. This is the Mission Foods Challenge. It's just for money, $5,000, winner take all. Something cool that Mission Foods has thrown into the series this year, but you got to figure some strategy, some lessons being learned as well. And look at Halbert.
And these guys are probably messing around with setup, trying to see if they can get their bike a little bit better for the main event as well.
So Halbert proving to be a tough customer, retaking the lead. Down to the line, white flag about to shine, and Mees regains it.
Yeah, Mees looks to be in control. I mean, he's able to lead coming off of 4 and be able to get to the stripe first, and he's able to get to the lead if he's in second. But, man, that was close. Going into turn 1 there, Vanderkoy went right around the outside.
And you heard the crowd reacting to that action. Now, big draft from Mees and Halbert.
And you can just see how the draft really plays into a factor there. It goes from first to third.
Out of turn 3, now turn 4. Can Mees hold Vanderkoy back? It's going to be a run to the line. Can they get in line for the draft? Not going to happen. Jared Mees does it again.
Yeah, neither one of those riders quite got in the draft the way they needed to. You see, like, coming off of turn 2, they weren't directly on his rear tire. If you're not lined up directly behind the rider in front of you, you're actually pushing your own air as well. So that's the hard thing, is like getting yourself right in that perfect position to be in the air slot, to be able to slingshot pass using the draft by the line.
$5,000, but more importantly, a whole bunch of confidence for Jared Mees.
Jared, during that mission challenge, a slingshot pass around Jared Vanderkoy allowed you to lead coming off of 4. And I wasn't sure whether or not that pass was timed strategically. Did you intentionally fall behind Jared so you could execute that pass?
No, not really. He had a really good line in 1 and 2, and I'm kind of struggling a little bit in turns 1 and 2 compared to Jared, and he just rolled right around the outside of me with a lot of speed. And you know, we made a few adjustments there for the Dash for Cash, and they actually were a lot better than in the semi. I feel like I can just a little bit more control of the race, I think, now. So hats off to Jimmy Wood with Olin Suspension for the changes. Of course, Kenny and Bubba working flawlessly, and Indian Motorcycle Progressive Insurance. It's looking to kick ass today.
Hey, this is his track. Not only does he get the big check, but he's looking to replicate that in the main event. You can battle, you can draft, you can pass, but can you beat Jared Mees? We'll have coverage of our production twins class, so stay with us. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Mission Foods, which has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. Progressive insures over 5 million boats, motorcycles, and RVs. Get a quote in under 4 minutes at AmericanFlatTrack.com/progressive. And by Law Tigers, you never have to ride alone. Production twins. Championship really in hand for Corey Texter. Dalton Gauthier, who's second in the series, was building some momentum, but he is now out hurt. So Bromley is more than 2 races back in points in third. But that's the points. It's really all about individual crown jewel wins here at Springfield. We do have some wild cards in the mix that'll mix it up, that don't even race all the events in this series. We'll give you the highlights of semi number 1 here in Production Twins first.
Yeah, we have Dallas Daniels out here. This is his first race on a mile on a twin, but he's looking right at home already.
Yep, so Daniels is our singles class champ, but he's one of those wild cards, and the 32 out front early. Unbelievable, and then he marches away. How's the kid doing this?
Yeah, I'm impressed but not surprised. This kid has so much talent on a motorcycle.
Morgan Mishler, another rider who normally races singles in the series, looking good on the twins bike. He will finish second over Jeremiah Duffy, and Corey Texter, your series leader, only ends up fourth. So watch for Daniels on the main tonight. We got a semi 2, Chad Coase out front early.
Yeah, Chad was running away, but this is a great race for second. But look at Jesse Janish on the Vance & Hines Harley-Davidson, filling in for Gautier and doing a really good job at it.
Yeah, he's normally a TT specialist, really rides well on a singles bike, but Janish showing he can ride a twin on a mile. And he'll put the 96 up there in third behind Ryan Barnes. And Chad Coase was absolutely dominant, so we could be looking at a Coase versus Daniels battle for the main event win. Texter, your series leader, struggling a bit. So Daniels, he won on the Production Twins bike, but that was the Super TT in Atlanta, a totally different type of track. He was on the podium the one other time he raced his bike on an oval. First run in a mile, but you're not surprised with this performance.
No, not at all. I mean, that just shows how versatile he is. I mean, he has one of the tracks for a Grand Slam. To see if he's able to get a mile win here. I mean, if you're able to win on all 4 types of racetracks, that's super impressive.
Dallas Daniels pretty much considered the outstanding young talent in this series. Can he do it on a bigger bike and a bigger track than the singles machine that he normally specializes? Card is up. Chad Coase was also very fast in qualifying, and you get a mile, you get the drafting. Anybody can make a run for it. There's your series leader, Texter, back on row 2. Here we go, Production Twins from Springfield. Mishler, a good jump.
Look at this start by Corey Texter. He's almost going to get the whole shot from the second row.
Well, I was going to say, he's normally the whole shot artist.
No chance, get the whole shot.
He did it. He actually did it. He is so good off the line normally. I didn't think he could turn row 2 into a start, but Texter's done it.
Yeah, we definitely got to call him the whole shot king.
So Texter on the G&G Yamaha leads, and look at Dallas Daniels getting around.
Yeah, Dallas Daniels doesn't waste any time going around the outside, wants to control this race.
The 18-year-old into the lead, and here comes Chad Coase around the outside. He knew that Coase would be in play tonight.
Yeah, that was a cool line by Dallas Daniels. Goes up wide, gets a turn, trying to make the straightaway as long as possible. We had a bunch of rain on Saturday, so this racetrack has a lot of grip in an area, so you're able to search around for different lines and find more traction.
Daniels leads Coase, and then the TT specialist showing he can get it done in a mile. Jesse Janish, only a part-timer in the series, now is up to third. And here's your battle. Coase looking for the lead.
Yeah, Coase is a veteran in this class. I mean, he has a lot of experience around Springfield Mile. Let's see if it pays off for him.
And Texter, despite the good start, now getting shuffled back. It has not been his day or night so far here at Springfield. Daniels and Coase starting to pull away.
And see some of the riders not quite as comfortable tucking in going down the straightaway. You see how Chad is just holding both of his hands up on the bars, where Dallas Daniels is getting one hand down on the fork tube. That's just trying to get out of the wind. I mean, the more aerodynamic you can get on a track like this, the faster you're going to go.
Let's show you the start here, Texter row 2.
Man, he just gets a great jump and perfect split to the middle of these guys and grabs a couple gears. And yeah, I mean, how impressive is that second row?
Unbelievable, the whole shot master, but he's again been shuffled out of the top 5 as Coase continues to put pressure on Daniels. Are we getting to almost the limit of the draft here, this 5 to 6 bike lengths that Daniels has?
Yeah, if you get yourself out that far, sometimes you can break the draft, and when you do that, it's very hard for somebody else to be able to run you back down. You have to be very much faster in the corners at that point.
So a lot on the line right now. Coase has to keep it close or it's going to be over. Tanner Dean, I want to give a shout out to him on the 38. He is in contention as well, riding well and getting around Texter.
Yeah, Tanner Dean does not have very much experience at all on a mile, on a twin as well. So these riders are getting some valuable experience and doing really well.
Well, what we had was the singles raced on the short track last night. So a lot of the singles riders, they could have just sat in the stands and watched. Why not grab a bike and go race and gain some experience? Coase has done it. He's close back in. So Daniels was trying to break the trap, but Coase not going to let it happen.
Yeah, it looks like the Yamaha maybe has a little bit more power underneath it. Stauffer Motors builds that Yamaha for Daniels. Looks like maybe he just has a little bit more steam down the straightaway, so Coase is going to have to be really good at using the draft.
And a great 3-wide fight for the number 3 spot with Janish, Dean, a couple other riders up in that mix as well. Mishler riding well.
We got a red, I believe. We do.
Oh, red flag.
Somebody's gone down. Let's see who it is.
Well, it's not Daniels and Coase. They're okay. Jeremiah Duffy, by the way, was on the 42. He was also in that battle. I think he might be 3rd right now. And this will all matter. Oh, it's Ben Lau.
It looks like you can see his handlebars twisted just a little bit there.
There's 25 of Lau.
Man, this is an awesome onboard shot, being able to see these guys. You can just see how they get sucked in by the draft coming into the corner. Oh, he just gets up by the air fence, super close, gets up in the dry stuff. Not quite on that lap. I mean, that was coming in 1 and 2, and he went down in 3 and 4, so he must have done a similar deal. Just got up in the dry stuff and slid out.
So the critical juncture here, the leaders had broken away. Can Mishler and the rest keep pace with Coase and Daniels as we restart from Springfield?
Good restart by Chad Coase around the outside. Gonna get the whole shot.
Can he hold it out of turn 2? Yes, so Chad Coase, restart worked in his favor.
Yeah, look at Daniels way down at the bottom, trying the different line. Maybe he's gonna see if there's some traction down there to get a hold of.
I love the racing here at Springfield. We've got multiple grooves, inside, outside, and the drafting. And indeed, the 3rd, 4th, 5th battle has stuck with the leaders this time. Look at Mishler on the 13, and also the 96 of Janish.
Yeah, Dallas is way down there on the bottom. I mean, that's what I like about this rider. I mean, he almost rides like a veteran just because I'm not going to follow the leader. I'm going to go down here and see if there's something better.
Just 18 years old, Dallas Daniels, his first full season on a singles bike. Last year, he won the title. Now showing he can get it done on a twin. Estenson Yamaha, they've had this rider in the pipeline for a long time, and he's showing some serious skills, but it's Coase at the moment with the lead as Daniels tries to set him up.
Yeah, it's a little bit rougher down on the bottom. You see him getting a little bit out of shape, so he has to be careful. But he makes it work that time, takes over the lead.
And Mishler looking to maybe get around Coase also from 3rd. Daniels holds it down.
Yeah, Daniels, it's amazing to me that he just completely changed up his line from before the restart, and he's making it work for him.
Do you just tip the visor sometimes to the talent that this guy has? What a fast learner.
He really is, but he's grown up watching the Springfield Mile and just studying all the great riders. He grew up only about an hour south of here, so Springfield has definitely been on his bucket list to win.
Coase and Mishler battling for 2nd and 3rd, but you can watch all this drafting, but has he ever really been in this position? Has he really felt this before?
I mean, it's similar on a 450, so you can definitely say that he's felt it. You see right there as he gets a little bit out of shape going into turn 1. It's different on a twin, but it's still got a lot of similarities.
Okay, well, whatever experience he does have paying off right now, but he's going to need it because Coase has shedded the pressure from Mishler, and I thought Coase was going back to the lead.
You can see this replay of Dallas getting a little bit out of shape going into turn 1. He slips sideways, and then you can see how it's a little bit darker dirt there. That's where it's more moisture, so you got to be careful with the inconsistency.
And Mishler and Coase, 2 wide coming out of turn 2, and also trying to keep the heat on Dallas Daniels. He has not been able to break away. Great racing. It's Production Twins main event number 1 from Springfield. Can the 18-year-old Dallas Daniels get the win? Dallas Daniels starting to pull away here in the Production Twins class. I keep saying he's 18 years old. I keep explaining how little experience he should have. He jumps on a Production Twins bike. He won the first time he was on it. He finished 2nd the 2nd time he was on it. And he might win here again.
That just means he's a visual learner. He's been watching, and he can just visualize, and he went out and done it. But it must have been a mistake by Mishler and Coase because, man, he got a big gap on him pretty quickly.
Yeah, they were right there keeping the pressure on, and they were definitely within drafting distance, but not any longer. So it could be a solo fight, 3 riders. and one of them might end up off the podium. Second, third, and fourth still very close. Janish on the 96, Coast the 49, and Michelin the 13.
Yeah, 3 Harley riders going to be battling over what spot on the podium they are, but it'd be really cool for Jesse Janish to be able to get on the box. Both him and Morgan Mishler from Wisconsin, really good friends, were teammates at one point in time. Be really cool to see them on the box together.
Janish, at one time a title contender against the likes of Daniels in the singles class, doesn't race the series full-time any longer. Got on this Vance and Hines Harley-Davidson after Dalton Gauthier went down with an ankle injury, and he has picked up right where they would want him to be, podium-level riding.
Definitely. He's a really versatile rider. He's really good at motocross, been doing a lot of GNCC, and comes back out here and gets on a mile on a twin, still able to do good as well. So definitely a really good rider, Jesse Janish is.
Ooh, and you know he's in shape too with all the riding that he does. But can he get Coast? That is going to be a fun battle to watch. Mishler all alone in second. This battle for third, it's all on the line with 2 to go.
Yeah, Janish going to have to line up a draft pass. He's going to have to get right in behind him, give himself a little bit of room to where he can get that run on him coming off the corner and be able to finish it up with the draft at the line.
Coast backed by Voodoo Ranger and Roof Systems. Also has Vance and Hines helping with that Harley-Davidson side by side. Who's going to get the drive off the corner?
He drops to the bottom. He takes over the lead. Chad's going to have to be the one to line up the pass now as we come to the white flag.
Janish in position for the podium. White flag is out. Dallas Daniels looking to make more history.
Oh, that got close. You got to be careful coming in the corner, not clip the other rider's bar.
So Coast for the moment has taken third back, and Janish going to wait for his shot in the draft on the backstretch.
Let's see who's going to line it up perfectly here. Janish is in the catbird seat at the moment.
Oh, down to the inside. Janish has third.
All right, his only hope is Chad's not able to get the draft at the line.
Here it is, checkered flag. Dallas Daniels has a mile win in production twins. And right to the line, we're gonna go side by side.
Coast got it. He pulled out of the draft early. I'm pretty surprised he's able to go by like that, but he made it happen.
So Dallas Daniels, who swept both races in the short track on the singles bike on Friday night, he's gonna leave Springfield with 3 victories.
Yeah, pulling up a old school Ricky Graham wheelie. Man, you can see just how pumped he is. I mean, that's a good feeling.
Well, this young man has such a feel for the racing, but also the history of the sport to win at Springfield. It's not Super Twins yet, but it's darn impressive to win on a mile on a production twins bike, and he's won 2 out of the 3 times he's been on this machine. There's your results. Let's send it to the podium.
Putting on a master class in mile racing in his debut. Dallas, how long have you been dreaming about winning at the Springfield Mile?
I mean, I've just been dreaming a long time just to race the racetrack, let alone win it and break the draft. It was just a fairy tale day. I mean, like fast qualify, that kind of shocked me. Win the semi, win the dash for cash, win the main event. It's just, it's insane. I can't believe I won the Springfield Mile. There's a lot of bad dudes that have won that, and my name's on the list. And just all my fans that came out, there's a lot of people standing right here from my hometown that was cheering for me, and can't thank all of them enough. And just, it was an insane day, and I can't believe it.
He is going to win a lot of races in his career, but he's never going to forget the first time he won the Springfield Mile. Points are a wash. Bromley had a mechanical. Gauthier didn't race. Texter, not the greatest result for him, but they didn't make up any ground on him anyway. He finished 7th. Daniels is top 10 in points with only 3 races completed. Let's send it back to Kristen to talk to 2nd and 3rd.
Morgan, you were able to work around Chad Kosh. It kind of settled into 2nd there, but I mean, a huge push from you and this entire team to make it to the podium here today. What helped you find your flow out there in the main event?
Honestly, just the wealth of knowledge that Vance Hines and Harley-Davidson have. They gave me a great bike to run, and I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity and represent such a prestigious brand. Very fortunate that we had a pretty good restart there and ended up finding a different line, kind of halfway through, and I mean, I could see Dallas, and he would just kind of drift a little farther away, reel him in a little bit. So to be up here is definitely an honor, and just fortunate to have the opportunity.
There was 3 of us running at the front of the pack, and it's just a pleasure. A little bit disappointed with the 3rd, but we'll try to make some adjustments and come back better tomorrow and try to win.
Dallas Daniels can do it all. Yamaha single 450 or the MT-07 twin, he gets it done. That's the production twins class. Now we get ready for Mission Super Twins after this. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Cat Rental Store, the official heavy equipment supplier of American Flat Track. Progressive insures over 5 million boats, motorcycles, and RVs. Get a quote in under 4 minutes at AmericanFlatTrack.com/progressive. And by Law Tigers, you never have to ride alone. The legendary Memphis Shade Springfield Mile is about to lose one of its legendary mile masters, Brian Smith. Here's Kristen Beat.
200 years ago, when you were just a kid. No, I'm just kidding. 30 years ago, actually, he told me the story during the week. You and your dad visited the Springfield Mile to witness what would be your first pro race as a fan. You walked down the tunnel, made your way to the paddock, and felt the magic of the Springfield Mile. Did you ever imagine that your career would move from that moment to becoming a champion to winning 9 times here?
Well, that moment coming here, seeing the pros race the Springfield Mile for the first time, we were going to watch my dad's buddy race, a guy by the name of Scott Parker. He's won this place more than anybody. So to come here back in 91, I was 8 years old, walked through that tunnel, and I still remember it like it was yesterday and going, man, this is what I want to do. So not that I ever thought I'd win this race or ever win the Grand National Championship, but that moment set my life in motion. And to come back here 30 years later and say I've won it 9 times, you can tell why this place is special to me. So hopefully it'll be a little easier for me. I got a lot of knowledge of how to win at these tracks. And the wrist, unfortunately, the best way to sum it up, it's like if you've heard of a lot of people having knee replacements. Everything's worn out in there, so they put new parts in. Unfortunately, they don't make those parts for the wrist just yet. So, hey, maybe next year they'll invent them and I'll make a comeback. We don't know.
I love the personality of Brian Smith. Here's Dunlop Tire Talk for Springfield, Brad.
Yeah, these guys are going to be running either the R7 or the R9. The R7 is a little bit softer compound that they just came out with. The R9 is something that they might bust out if there's too much tire wear. Sometimes here at Springfield, you got to conserve your tires. So these guys have those 2 options, but it just depends on how much tire wear there is.
Well, we know that everyone wants to say they won Springfield. Jared Mee's probably the favorite, but 4 or 5 riders are hoping they can top him tonight. It's the crown jewel of American Flat Track. Stay with us. Progressive American Flat Track, and we are ready for the Memphis Shade Springfield Mile 1. It's a doubleheader. We'll have a second night of racing, combining what is normally 2 different weekends into one. For 2 different Springfield winners. Brandon Robinson will actually be the top grid selection because he was very fast in his semi. Sammy Halbert won the other semi. Jared Mees will start 4th on the grid. Brian Smith, in his last weekend at Springfield, will start in the back. He had some mechanical problems, it looked like, in his semi. But here we go, Brad. It's all on the line. Everyone wants to win here.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the most exciting races of the year. I can't wait to see what happens.
Here it is, everybody. 14 minutes plus 2 laps. On a long racetrack at Springfield. Here we go.
Looks like an excellent start from the inside. Jared Mee is going to snag the whole shot.
Yeah, and on the outside, it did not work for Robinson. He has been shuffled way back, although he had the number 1 spot on the grid. So Jared Mees to the early lead. J.D. Beach, 2nd of the 95.
And another whole shot king, J.D. Beach, got an excellent start off the back row. See if he's able to hang with these guys.
And Halbert trying to make moves from 3rd and Beach to the lead.
Yeah, JD to the lead. See if the changes they made on the SSN Yamaha is able to keep him up front.
Oh, this is what Yamaha and this team have wanted so bad, to be able to run with the best on the mile tracks. That Yamaha's fast. It's been a battle for traction, and he's showing he has some right now as he dukes it out with Mees.
And JD slides to the bottom, kind of down there on that darker dirt, trying to find some good traction down there.
And don't forget Robinson. Look at this. He's rallied all the way back.
Yeah, JD's hanging in there right away. You see Breyer kind of sneaking himself up the inside as well. He wants to get up with these guys. You can't let him get out there. You got to be in the draft the whole time.
Oh, look at this racing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders. Breyer Bauman in 7th all the way down to the bottom, making some moves. Such exciting action here.
Now you see the head shake that Brandon Robinson had there when he pulled out of the draft. That you just get into a little bit of turbulence when you start pushing your own wind.
It's SNS on board with Jared Mees. He will attempt a breakaway here. Going to be tough with the draft. And with a very cunning Brandon Robinson, who immediately uses that draft to retake the lead.
Brandon Price sliding himself up in the third position, a rookie, doesn't have quite enough or that much experience on a mile, but he's hanging right with these guys.
And Mies, no, still stuck right there in second behind Robinson. I thought he was going to go for the pass. Now he does. Side by side, Mies has it.
Breyer's got himself up in the fourth now. See if he's going to be able to get himself up in the top three here. He has to finish as close to as he possibly can to Jared, if not in front of him.
Bauman, looking for 3 straight titles in this series, has never won here at Springfield. He wants to win for pride, for prestige, but more importantly, doesn't want to give any points to Mies. And fourth to first, that's a pretty big gap in points, so it's looking good for the number 9 right now.
Yeah, this is one of the most historic races to win. To put yourself on the winner's list is a really good accomplishment.
Looks like Robinson has taken the measure of Mies, and Brandon Price, who has been quick all year, up to second.
He got a great run off of turn 2 there. Was able to get by Jared Mies right in the draft to Brandon Robinson now, but Jared drafts right back up the inside, goes third to first.
Oh, Jeffrey Carver is out of this race. The wild card entry. He won this race back in 2018. Bummer to see him out.
Yeah, that's too bad. He's a fan favorite, especially here in Springfield. The fans love him.
Must be a mechanical problem for him. Okay, so Robinson and Mies just keep going back and forth, and just tell everybody how fast they're going as they duel.
They're going about 135 to 140 at the end of the straightaway, and the average lap speed is over 100 miles per hour. Usually it's 100, 101 average lap speed. So that just shows they're not slowing down much in the corners.
And inches away from each other, and multiple passes every single time they hit the backstretch. Price is right there with Robinson, and Mies the leader.
Yeah, when you're out there, it doesn't feel like you're going that fast. It feels like everything slows down. These guys are right next to each other. Got to have so much trust in one another, but they've grown up racing together. It's like ballet at 100+ miles per hour.
All right, and a couple other riders. You've got the 69 of Halbert and the 20 of Vanderkoy. They've joined the party as well. They're trying to break away from Beach on the number 95, who had the good start. He's back there with his teammate, Colby Carlisle, as the leaders just shuffle it every time you watch.
Yeah, Breyer takes a little sneak up the inside, but, you know, getting into the corner is not exactly where you want to be faster. You want to be faster off the corner. You want to keep up the momentum. That way you can get the pass right before the start-finish line.
And Breyer looking to get aggressive here. Going to take the high line. Almost gave up a spot. Look, Bauman looking to pass Mies for the first time.
That was a really cool line, how he came in high, got it turned, and then kind of shot right through the center, keeping up his mid-corner speed, but wasn't quite enough to have the momentum getting off the corner.
And Mies immediately counters to take the lead from Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson, he's had a lot of experience, rode with a lot of really good riders, and the only way that you learn on these miles is just by doing them and gaining experience.
Bauman under pressure from Price and Halbert and Vanderkoy. First time we saw Bauman and Mies really battle. Oh, he just took second away from Robinson.
Yeah, dropped to the bottom, just kind of cuts off a little bit of real estate and able to slide in the second. That gives Jared Mies a couple bike length lead coming off of turn 2, though.
Long way to go. Not even halfway through our countdown clock. And it'll be 2 laps to go after that. Oh, Mies starting to stretch a little bit.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do is start racing with one another and let one rider be able to get out front and start to be able to pick off clean laps. So, yeah, you don't want to fight too much unless it's for the top spot.
Robinson back around Bauman, up to second, closing the gap again on Mies.
Yeah, these guys are all nose to tail. Sammy Halbert sitting back there in 6th. Sometimes when you get that far back in that group, it's hard to be able to move yourself forward because there's so much chaos going on in front of you.
This race is awesome. You had Robinson back in 3rd. It looked like Mies was breaking away from Bauman, and 2 laps later, Robinson all the way up to the lead.
Yeah, exactly. You can go from 4th to 1st, back to 4th. These guys are just shuffling around.
Yes, and a long way to go, but it's going to get even more intense when we get down to the last lap. Who will stay in the fight between now and then? Robinson, Mies, Bauman, and the rest duking it out. The battle continues. Memphis Shade Springfield Mile Progressive American Flat Track. The 44 Brandon Robinson retaking the lead. I can't even count how many times he and Jared Mees have passed each other for the top spot.
Yeah, these guys are strategizing right now, like where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are. You know, they got to see, hey, can I draft by the line? Am I better to come off leading and be able to get to the line first, or do I need to be in second and line myself up for a draft? So these guys are kind of playing chess right now, sizing each other up, seeing where they need to be on the last laps.
I gotta figure Jared Mees, the veteran, loves this kind of stuff, though.
He really does. I mean, he's raced with a lot of the greats all the way back to Chris Carr, Brian Smith, obviously. You know, you learn a lot, so being a veteran in this position, you're definitely got an upper edge.
Oh, but speaking of position, Briar Bauman has put himself in front of Jared Mees for the first time tonight.
Wow,
Oh!
they had to shut down. Looked like Briar just kind of got sandwiched in between Robinson
It's
and
Vanderkoy.
Mees. Yeah,
Vanderkoy is a problem.
Unfortunately, Vanderkoy was going really good. That's too bad to see him out with the mechanical.
Okay, so that was incidental of that. Vanderkoy's problem was behind that bump up front, right?
Yeah, I just seen it as Robinson drafted up the inside, Jared went around the outside, and kind of Briar just kind of got shut off. Had to let it down, being sandwiched in between the two. That's a little bit sketchy going 100+ miles per hour.
Oh, yeah, you think? Near contact? Look how close they are. Mees to the lead. Bauman retakes second, but now he takes it from Robinson.
And head shaking all the way down the straightaway sometime. You see how Robinson has the most head shake than anybody else here on the mission on board with Jared Mees. See Briar getting sideways coming off of turn 4. That definitely ruins your run coming off the corner. You don't want to break traction.
Robinson going low on Bauman. Mees again going to try to break away, and instantly Bauman pulls up close to him.
Yeah, Bauman got a good run this time. Let's see what he's able to do with it at the end of the straightaway. Gets a good run. Doesn't quite take over the lead. He's not able to draft by as good, say, as Robinson and Jared. He's right there. He runs up the inside of him.
Nice line there.
Yeah.
Bauman looking to take the lead. Won't be able to draft either way. They're side by side, and Bauman in the number 1 spot.
That's something new there. That's not a line that we've seen yet. Kind of getting it squared up using the inside. Maybe that's something that Briar had up his sleeve. Maybe he showed a little too soon, though.
A little bit of flex there from Briar Bauman, but yeah, if he wants to use it late in the race, you got to figure Jared Mees is taking notes, knows how to counter. Oh, Robinson, that bike was all over the place, and he still takes the lead. And then the line works again for Bauman to retake it.
And Jared drops right down there with him, so, you know, maybe, like I said, showed his cards a little too soon, but look at the run that Robinson had around the outside. Maybe that outside line is still a little bit better with the momentum that you're able to keep.
30 seconds and 2 laps to go. The top 3 in points have broken away, and every single turn they're scrapping for the lead.
Yeah, Briar's right there. I mean, Jared would like to see a lot more riders between him and Briar, but now it's a dogfight all the way to the end between these 3.
Briar not able to draft by. I don't know if he wanted to. Now it's going to become a strategy game. What position do they want to be in for the final lap? And it's going to be 2 to go here.
Yeah, Jared's running that line now. I mean, Briar had to try it to see if it worked, but maybe he showed his cards a little too soon because now they're all using it.
3 wide, and Robinson to the lead in turn 1.
Robinson sneaks up the inside, but then that gives these guys the perfect draft position to go down the backstretch.
Oh, this race so pivotal for the title, and it's going to come down to inches, strategy, trying to outguess the competition. Jared Mees reclaims the lead in the backstretch.
Jared seems to be able to get to the stripe whether he leads off of turn 4 or he comes off in second. So I think these guys' best bet is try to draft into turn 3, get the lead, and just hope that they have enough distance to be able to lead to the stripe.
Last lap, yes. Very rarely do you see someone draft past Jared Mees at the line. So it might come out of turn 2 then if they want to get by. And we're in that exact spot right now.
Yeah, Briar is really where he needs to be to see if he's able to draft by going into turn 3.
And he stays in line. So he's going to instead try the pass here. Mees versus Bauman at Springfield. The inside line, you know Bauman likes it. It's gonna be a drag race. Great drive off for Mees, side by side. Checkers in sight. And Mees wins Springfield.
Yeah, it just wasn't quite enough for Briar to get the run off the inside. Jared was so strong up on the outside carrying his momentum and just brought it to the line.
Whew, I'm exhausted. They're exhausted.
You see, these guys are excited.
But not
I mean,
enough.
it's so much fun. These guys, they just, whether you win or not, you just come off and you're stoked because that was just such a blast.
But Jared Mees knew it was a must-win situation. He has to chop some points off of Bauman. Bauman gave him a heck of a challenge. The amount of times I've seen someone challenge Mees off of turn 4 on a mile and not get him, I don't know how he does it. Fast motorcycle probably helps.
Yeah, he has an amazing team behind him. Kenny Tolbert, the second winningest tuner in history. Then you got Jimmy Wood with Olin's Racing Suspension. I mean, they had that thing hooked up and going fast.
And he wins.
Jared Mees making it 6 wins here at the legendary Springfield Mile. Jared, there was a moment in that race where I thought that Breyer might have had you, and you came out and were able to make the pass and make it stick. What did it take for you to win this race?
Oh man, in turns 3 and 4, it got to be like really slippery going, like entering into 3, and you just kind of try to keep the wheels in line. And man, Brandon was really, really quick through 1 and 2, and he had good roll through there. But the Indian motorcycle backed by Progressive Insurance ran awesome. Kenny Tolbert, Bubba, they built me a missile. The Olin suspension was working great. It takes a lot to put like a successful team together. It really does, and I couldn't have it any other way with all my backers, and love Springfield Mile. And I figured if I'm gonna own it, I gotta win it, right?
Yes, that's right. The Mees family will become the promoters of this event into the future. He kind of does own Springfield in another way on the racetrack. So, Mees takes some points away from Bauman. How does Bauman feel about the second place finish? We'll talk to him next. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Indian Motorcycle, official partner of Progressive American Flat Track. And by Law Tigers, you never have to ride alone. And Mission Foods has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. The first leg of a doubleheader weekend at Springfield is complete. Breyer Bauman has never won here. He came oh so close. Instead, he's second.
Breyer, at one point, I think I saw you stand up in the saddle, and then you broke out the high-low line, which looked to be the line to beat out there. Do you think maybe you showed your cards a little too soon? The next lap, Jared ran that line as well.
I watched Jared do it. It didn't seem like his bike was quite capable of doing it that well. That's why I went back to the top. I think maybe I did it wrong the last lap because I still got close. If I could have got his front end coming off 4 at the mile, I would have done it because I can't believe how bad that dude rides us out there. Like, his bike is so quick, and he just swerves at us and just – we're doing 130 mile an hour, and guys clipping each other's bars and doing just dumb stuff. So it just doesn't make very much sense to me personally.
Whoa! We have not heard that kind of heat between Bauman and Mees before. Mees makes up 5 points. And remember, we'll be right back here tomorrow to race this track again. So the bad blood will just go right back onto the racetrack. We'll see how that turns out. Great run, by the way, for Robinson, third in points and third tonight. Let's go to Kristen.
These guys were slicing and dicing in those final laps. How about it, B-Rob? During that race, I noticed you were battling a lot of head shake. How distracting is that, and what does that feel like for a rider on the bike?
It's just more tiring than anything. You get halfway through the race and you're fighting your own self, and man, that's a hard way to race. So instead of just focusing on battling those guys, I'm focusing on battling myself as well. And we hung on. Bike was solid through the corners. I mean, I felt really, really good through 1 and 2. I felt like I had everyone's number down there. And 3 and 4 just kind of couldn't quite figure it out. And then Breyer found some bottom line down there, and it threw me off. I was like, man, what's down there? And I went down there with like 2 to go, and I screwed the pooch there pretty bad. So I was pretty far behind coming to the white flag, and just buried in deep into 1 and 2, kind of caught back up and try to last-ditch effort in 3 and 4, but it wasn't meant to be. So just super pumped with the Mission Foods. We're just in Dallas, Texas, ACRR team, my crew chief, Ben Evans. These guys give me a great bike all weekend long so far, and just looking forward to keeping this momentum rolling for tomorrow and try to get a couple steps higher in the box.
Been a great season for him, and I cannot wait because we get another shot at it at Springfield with a little heat between Bauman and Mees. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's getting personal now. I mean, these guys, they're leaving it all on the line.
It's a race they want to win and a title they want so badly. We'll have it in our next event from Progressive American Flat Track. Dallas Daniels wins on a mile for the first time in his career in Production Twins. And Jared Mees overcame the obstacles. They threw everything they had at him, and the number 9 is still number 1 at Springfield. For Brad Baker and Kristen Beat, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the second Springfield Mile coming up next. We say congratulations out to jammer Jared Mees.